The room went silent the second she said it. Crystal lifted her glass, smiled like she'd already won, and in front of investors, employees, and my own father, she said, "So, it's finally time to sell the company, right?" Then she looked directly at me. "Let the kids cash out and move on."
Kids.
The way she said it made one thing painfully clear. She had already decided I didn't belong there anymore. And the worst part? My father said nothing. He didn't defend me. He didn't interrupt her. He just stared at the floor, like avoiding eye contact could somehow save him. That was the exact moment something shifted in me. Not heartbreak. Not anger.
Clarity.
Because in that moment, I stopped wondering if she was trying to push me out, and remembered that I had been waiting for this. When I first met Crystal, she played the role perfectly. She brought homemade lasagna, called me sweetheart, touched my arm when she spoke, laughed just a little too loudly, the kind of laugh designed to make everyone believe she belonged. I wanted to trust her. My father wanted peace. And after everything we had already lost, I think both of us needed to believe she was genuine. But the company wasn't just a business. It was my mother's life's work. She built it from nothing, late nights, impossible risks, burnt coffee, missed holidays, all of it. And when she passed away, my father made one promise. It stays in the family. Crystal smiled when he said it, nodded like she respected it. She didn't. At first, the changes were subtle. Doors that used to stay open were suddenly locked. Meetings started happening without me. Reports stopped landing in my inbox. She began calling it our company instead of your mother's company. Then she started correcting me in front of employees who had worked with my mom from the beginning. That's when I knew this wasn't about helping. It was about takeover. Still, I didn't confront her. I watched. Because betrayal always gets comfortable before it gets careless. And eventually it did. The mistake came in the form of one forwarded email she never meant to send. Subject line, post-retirement asset liquidation. My name wasn't included. My mother wasn't mentioned. And the entire plan was already moving forward behind my back. That was the moment I stopped reacting like a daughter and started thinking like a strategist. I hired a lawyer, a serious one, the kind who doesn't waste time smiling. Then I went back through everything my mother left behind. Old contracts, legal files, handwritten journals, dusty boxes full of records no one had touched in years. And buried in all of that was the one detail Crystal never thought to look for, a dormant clause. Voting shares had already been placed into a trust years earlier. And once my father retired, control wouldn't pass to him.
It would pass to me.
51%. Majority ownership. Legally airtight. Crystal had spent months planning a sale she never had the authority to make. And the best part? The retirement party, the event she organized to celebrate her big transition, was the very thing that triggered the clause. She handed me the timing herself. So I waited. Not because I was afraid. Because timing matters. The party was huge. Live band. Catered dinner.
Press.
Investors. Employees. A full room dressed up to witness what she thought would be her victory lap. She wore white. I wore black. My father sat between us looking like a man who knew something was wrong but hadn't yet admitted how far it had gone. Then Crystal stood, raised her glass, and took over the room. "Today," she announced, "we begin an exciting new chapter." Then she turned toward me with that polished, practiced smile. "You'll be free now." That was my cue. I stepped forward, placed a folder on the table, and said calmly, "Actually, nothing is being sold." She blinked, then laughed. Too fast. Too fake. "Oh, sweetheart," she said, "you don't get to make that decision." I looked at her and replied, "I do now. I own 51% of the company, effective immediately upon my father's retirement." Silence. Real silence. The kind that hits a room all at once. My father looked up. For the first time all night, he actually looked at me. Crystal grabbed the folder, flipping through the documents with growing panic. Page 1, Trust Activation. Page 2, Voting Transfer. Page 3, Proof of Filing. That was the moment her expression changed. First confusion, then disbelief, then fear. "This isn't real," she said. "It's filed," I replied. "Public record." Her hands started shaking. And then she lost control. She knocked over a chair. A glass shattered. The music stopped. Phones came out. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. I'm also terminating your consultancy contract. I continued. And opening an internal audit. Your compensation structure raised more than a few questions. Now the room was fully awake. My father stood slowly, stunned, like reality had finally caught up with him. I trusted you, he said to her. She looked at him like he had betrayed her, but we all knew the truth. She was the one who had spent months trying to erase my mother's legacy and push me out of the company built with my family's name on it. Security escorted her out while she shouted my name across the room. Investors looked away. Employees didn't. They nodded, because they knew. They had seen it too. And when the doors finally closed behind her, the whole room seemed to breathe again. Then I turned to my father. He looked older than he had an hour earlier. Smaller somehow. Not weak, just human. I didn't do this to hurt you, I told him. I did it to protect what Mom built. He nodded. No tears. No speech. Just silence. And honestly, that said more than anything else could have. Now, when I think back on that night, I don't remember chaos. I remember precision. Because real power isn't loud. It doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't need to humiliate anyone to prove a point. It waits. It learns. And when the time is right, it speaks with facts. Crystal thought power meant controlling the room, making people feel small, rewriting the story in public. She was wrong. She didn't lose because I was cruel. She lost because she underestimated the person who was paying attention. I didn't destroy the company. I saved it. And I never had to raise my voice once. If you enjoy stories about strategy, betrayal, and powerful comebacks, subscribe and stay with me, because some endings are only the beginning of the real story.